And what happened to you at that time? I just want to know.
You want to hear it? You like hearing this, don't you?
I want to know that God has been my wingman with you and that nobody can take you away. Trust God enough. Lead us where we should go.
And I said, Kody, you have no interest in like having a relationship with me. It's like, no, you said you didn't want to be married to me, so why should I stick around for another 10 years? Dumb.
I honestly feel bad for those girls. Their mom has done absolutely nothing to help them become independent. I mean, I can't imagine being in college and needing my parents' permission for everything, even to go to church. It's just wild. And honestly, they all look like they're on the verge of crying at any moment. Emotionally, they're like little kids who think every feeling is some kind of dramatic crisis. They make everything into a big deal, even the tiniest things. And Brianna? Oh my gosh, she was way too thrilled when her mom said yes. Like it was her biggest dream come true. Apparently, the possibility of her mom allowing her to, I don't know, talk to other people outside the house was the most exciting thing ever. It's honestly kind of sad. To be honest, I'm pretty sure most of Brianna's reactions are fake. Not in a malicious way, but more like she's been trained her whole life to make everything a huge reaction. If you get permission, you have to act overly grateful. If someone hurts your feelings, it's like you have to fall apart. It's almost like she's learned to dramatize everything for attention. And then when they mentioned they were both in college, my jaw hit the floor. The way they talk and act, you'd think they were still in their early teens. Asking their mom if they can join a church when they're supposed to be adults. Just weird. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X. Kody isn't exactly living his best life. He keeps going on and on about how deeply in love he is with Robyn, how everyone else is jealous of their perfect monogamous love story, but let's be real, it's not adding up. Sure, he definitely preferred Robyn, but let's not kid ourselves. He liked the freedom that came with bouncing around between wives, picking whichever one he felt like spending time with. He enjoyed hanging out with his boys, and there were some wives he got along with fine. He was even excited to be part of Maddie's life, the new grandbaby and Caleb's family. Then came coronavirus, and Kody tried to enforce his rules on the family, particularly with Robyn's. What a disaster. He never expected things to spiral so far out of control. Christine leaving, total shock. Janelle siding with her, even more surprising. At that point, his ego couldn't let him admit he might be wrong, even if it meant losing his family. Now, he's stuck in a miserable existence, desperately trying to cling to control with his last-ditch effort. CP, control freakery, anyone? He's stuck with Robyn and her kids, and let's face it, he doesn't seem nearly as thrilled with them as he was with the older boys. He's terrified of saying the wrong thing to Robyn's kids. If he does, she'll pounce on him. It's so clear that his idea of a soulmate was more like a favorite, not someone he truly connects with. He loved showing off his huge family, 4 wives, 18 kids, but now, with just 1 wife and 5 kids, he's just a regular guy. And let's not even talk about the lack of fun in his life. No activities with the kids that aren't Robyn approved. His big adventure seems to be running errands. How thrilling. The expensive art and new homes. They're just band-aids for the giant hole where his family used to be. The family that's now happy without him, still going strong. It must sting to watch that. The whole loving Robyn routine, it's so forced. Every time he gushes about how pretty and shy she is, it just sounds off. No one who's genuinely in love talks that way. It's like reading from a script. Polygamy worked for Kody because it allowed him to be selfish and avoid responsibility. If he didn't feel like dealing with a wife, there were 2 or 3 others ready to give him attention. If one of his kids was acting out, no big deal. There were 15 others vying for his love and attention. Neither Kody nor Robyn really wanted to be monogamous. Robyn just wanted to be the favorite, and Kody wanted the perks of polygamy, without the commitment. But now that it's down to just the two of them, it's clear Kody can't grasp the fact that his kids and ex-wives really don't care about him or Robyn. In the past, Kody laid down the law, and the women followed it. Keep sweet, don't complain, love Robyn. But now, it's not working anymore, and his once captive audience has moved on. Kody's face tells the story, Botoxed, miserable, and far from the man he used to be. He can keep saying he loves Robyn, but his body language and expressions scream otherwise. I'd bet anything that when he's at home, he's hiding from her, trying to escape her sour mood. He used to have Christine, Janelle, and Meri adoring him, and all he had to do was show up and be attentive. Robyn made sure to keep him on a leash, texting him while he was with the others. She's not the sweet, loving partner he makes her out to be. She's just using him for her own benefit. And Kody? He's stuck, unable to see how far he's fallen. Maddie and Mykelti got married when they were 20, which, watching yesterday's episode, is a bit wild to think about, especially considering Aurora is already older than both of them were at the time. Brianna's the same age too, and before all that, Maddie tried to join the mainstream Mormon church without Janelle's permission. Same with Mykelti. Talk about making your kids feel like they can't make a single decision without mommy's approval. Not that I'm saying getting married at 20 is a good idea, because, let's be real, that's insanely young. But it's just so bizarre to see the difference between Robyn's kids and everyone else's. It's like a whole other world. It's honestly mind-blowing to compare the ones who married young with the ones who stayed single until they were older. I got married at 23, and looking at my oldest, who's almost 20, gives me actual heart palpitations. No way in hell is she ready for that. And seriously, the infantilization is straight-up abuse. These kids are 20, but they're acting like they need mom's permission just to go check out a church. It's like they're little kids asking for permission to go to a sleepover or something. Ridiculous. They need to get out of that house and start living their own lives as adults. Watching Robyn's older daughters is just uncomfortable. Knowing their actual ages versus how they act and communicate is honestly heartbreaking. How are they supposed to function in the real world when they still act like they're in their early teens? It's tragic to see how stunted they've become. If I didn't know their ages and just watched a scene with them, I guess they were 14 or 15, max. Oh, I literally can't stand them. Mykelti just seems to want to get under Maddie's skin, or maybe Christine's, probably both, honestly. Every time I see them together, I just feel this rage build up inside me. It's like they're a walking, talking disaster, and I can't help but lose it. And let's be real, they're both complete idiots. Seriously, I have no idea what she sees in him. Is he really that charming? Because from where I'm sitting, he's a mess. And Kody? Where's his intervention here? Why wasn't he stepping in to stop this train wreck of a relationship before it got this far? Also, just to clarify, this is my first time watching, so maybe I'm completely off base with this rant, but I don't think so. Mykelti? She's like the classic black sheep middle child, and that means a couple of things. First, she's probably been bullied by her siblings and probably everyone else, and now she's people-pleasing to overcompensate for it, which honestly is just so cringy. The worst part is, I think she looks at Tommy and sees the first person who's ever really stood up for her. That's why she's hanging on to him, even though he's a total disaster. It's not just you, by the way. Mykelti is definitely the one who gets under my skin the most too. I even skipped their wedding episode because I couldn't take it anymore. Between her ridiculous demands and Tony's comment about how her parents would need a second mortgage to pay for their wedding, I was done. Plus, I'm convinced Mykelti was so jealous of Maddie getting married first that she rushed into hers just to outshine her. That whole "we'll get married quickly unless the parents pay for our honeymoon" thing, pure jealousy. Robyn's couch confessional look was absolutely something to behold. Her new false eyelashes were so thick and heavy, I'm pretty sure she was struggling just to keep her eyes open. Between those and the furrowed brows, it was a bold choice. Honestly, I didn't catch a single word she said. I'll have to go back and rewatch that part when I'm not distracted by her blink and you'll miss it eye movements. Then she casually dropped a comment about how picking the perfect wedding dress is so important, which, coming from Robyn, was rich. Given her wedding dress history with the Browns, it took some serious guts for her to even bring it up. But hey, who am I to judge? I just can't keep throwing shade at Aurora and Brianna anymore. Robyn's a whole different level of control and manipulation, and it's obvious how much that affects her daughters. Sure, they're adults, and they could leave whenever they want, but it's like they're walking on eggshells, always worried about upsetting their mom. I can't keep making fun of these two anymore, honestly. I just hope they finish school and finally break free. Robyn is seriously messed up though. I'm really rooting for the girls to get out of there and figure out how to live on their own. The sad thing is, Robyn hasn't exactly taught them how to be strong, independent women. Oh, I can already picture it. Years from now, some juicy tell-all book will come out and reveal that Robyn was behind it all. I mean, it's so obvious, right? She probably had her nanny, or some other poor soul, catfish Meri. Robyn is the puppet master, orchestrating the entire destruction of Meri and Kody's marriage. First, she convinced Meri to divorce him so he could adopt the kids, and then she quietly stoked the fire, creating the perfect wedge between them. My gut says Robyn was pulling the strings behind the scenes. Now, I know what you're thinking. The catfish wasn't actually Robyn. It was this woman named Jackie Overton. But here's the kicker. Robyn's friend was the one who vouched for Sam, the fake person Meri thought she was chatting with. This friend claimed they'd met Sam in person, making it all seem legitimate, like Sam was a real person. But seriously, doesn't this whole thing reek of Robyn's involvement? There's already some evidence that connects her to the catfish scheme. Something about it just doesn't sit right. So Kody, this guy, the most infuriating human being I've ever seen on TV. In the 5+ years I've been with my boyfriend, he's somehow managed to get sucked into the trashy TV vortex. I inhabit minus 90-day fiancé being the usual culprit. But sister wives? Nope, I've spared him that special brand of chaos. Until today. I'm homesick from work, binge-watching yesterday's episode, and I thought he had his noise-canceling headphones on. Apparently not, because suddenly I hear him say, "Honey, I've been watching this show for 10 minutes, and that man has to be the most infuriating person I've ever seen on TV. What does he mean? He's unhappy? He somehow convinced 4 women to marry him, and now he has the audacity to say they ruined his life. He chose this life. He's insufferable. And honestly, I'm dead." My husband has hated Kody from episode 1, didn't even realize it until now. He's not a regular viewer, but it came up randomly. Apparently, he thinks it's ridiculous that Kody drives a convertible and has that many kids. According to him, a guy like that clearly isn't interested in a family. Clearly, one strength of the Brown family? No kids following a polygamous lifestyle. Sure, we focus on the idea that the kids aren't polygamists because the family failed at plural marriage, but there's a bigger reason. They actually let their kids experience a bit of normalcy and gave them the freedom to make their own choices. That's the real reason, choice and variety in their experiences. Compare that to families like the Duggars or the Rodriguezes. Those kids are so sheltered that the concept of alternatives doesn't even exist, and any deviation from the strict doctrine, like wearing different clothes, gets immediately shunned. So credit where it's due. For an extreme fundamentalist family, the Browns actually gave their kids the rare gift of autonomy. That deserves some props. For years, we've been subjected to Christine's endless rants about how hideous her first wedding dress was, how it didn't fit well, how it was ugly, and how she and her kids are all too happy to pile on. So imagine my shock when, just last night, she casually drops the bomb that her mom, Annie, actually made the dress. Wow, thanks for the heads up, Christine. Now, as someone who sews, I was literally yelling at my screen. Annie didn't even live in the same state as Christine at the time. First off, the dress did fit just fine. Was it a fashion-forward masterpiece? Absolutely not. But I'm 99% sure Christine was the one who picked that disastrous pattern. It's not Annie's fault that her chubby daughter didn't realize that style and fabric weren't exactly going to flatter her body type. What was Annie supposed to do? Call up Christine and say, you know, this dress you picked out is a complete nightmare, and I refuse to make it. Of course not. So after all the hours of hard work that Annie put into sewing a dress her daughter asked for, what does she get in return? 30 years of TV interviews where Christine calls it ugly, says it didn't fit, and claims she didn't have a real wedding. All that effort, all that love, and it's been tossed aside as nothing but a mistake. Honestly, I'm as frustrated as I was when Christine had the audacity to sit down with Meri and start whining about all the baggage Meri supposedly brings to the table. It's no wonder Meri and Annie get along so well. They are probably the only two people Christine doesn't feel the need to be a total snot around. Also, just as a side note, they've been talking about Christine's first dress for years, and it's always been known that her mom made it. This isn't some big reveal, Christine. Get with the program. If Kody can carve out time to take fun trips with his brothers and friends, without it being some grand betrayal of his relationship with Robyn, then why can't he ever manage to hop on a plane for even a few days to see Maddie, Caleb, and his grandkids, say, once a year? He has no problem spending time with his buddies, and somehow that's not a threat to his relationship. But when his adult children want to spend time with him, or when he should actually make the effort to nurture those relationships, it's a hard pass because that would somehow take him away from Robyn. Time away from Robyn is still time away. Does it really matter how he spends it? Someone please explain how this logic works, because it doesn't make a lick of sense. The truth is, Kody doesn't put in the effort for Maddie and her family because he simply doesn't want to. Same reason he skipped Isabel's surgery, and the reason he wasn't around when Isabel moved from North Carolina to Utah. Kody only seems to make an effort when the kids come to him. I wouldn't be shocked if one of Christine's issues with him is that he won't even visit Truly unless he's got some other reason to be in Salt Lake City. And let's be real, distance isn't the issue. When Savannah was in high school in Flagstaff, he barely bothered to see her. Savannah didn't ask to live in a trailer. She didn't ask for her parents to spend their time fighting. She just wanted to follow the coronavirus rules. Kody should be ashamed of himself, but of course he's not. When I rewatched the episode where they told the kids they were all moving to Flagstaff, Dayton dropped the bomb about getting into college. Honestly, it seemed like he was hoping to escape his helicopter mom and her creepy sidekick, Charles Manson Jr., but that's just my interpretation. I don't know many 18-year-olds who sign up for a college 7 hours away just to have their parents follow them there. Not exactly what you'd call independence, right? The whole Dayton storyline is a mess. Let's not forget, they left Las Vegas just 6 months after that mass shooting, and Kody, the local gun dealer, was suddenly facing tighter gun laws in Nevada. Arizona, on the other hand, is like a free-for-all with its gun laws. What a coincidence. But honestly, Dayton was done so dirty on this show. Remember that scene where Robyn and Kody basically sat him down and said, "Surprise, your dad doesn't want you, but guess what? Kody is your new dad now. I mean, come on, could it be any worse?" Dayton really struck me as someone who wanted to break free and become independent. He worked so hard, even though he was nervous, to prepare for that adoption hearing. Seriously, it was one of the most endearing moments, showing real maturity. He applied to college away from home, which is a big leap for anyone, especially someone with ASD, if we're to believe Robyn's version of events. But now, it seems like he made the decision to stop filming. I haven't seen him on the show in ages, especially not compared to the 4 tender kids still stuck in the spotlight. And then, just when you think Robyn and Kody can't possibly be worse, they swoop in with their surprise. You can't escape us that easily. Move the whole family to his college town. Oh, and let's not forget, Robyn's been busy buying 2 massive houses over the last few seasons. Makes you wonder if she expects her kids to live with her forever, whether they like it or not. Just when you think they've hit rock bottom, Robyn casually drops, "Surprise. None of those other people actually liked you anyway." Ugh. The kids on this show are constantly getting screwed over by the adults, but Dayton's situation just hits different. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Dayton's out there living his best life, setting up boundaries and all that. I hope that's the case. He deserves it. Meri's situation is honestly kind of sad. It's like she's breaking up with someone who never even existed. I can't put it into words, but it feels like she's been in this relationship with a ghost, someone who was never really there, and now she's stuck mourning them like it was real. She can't let go of the past. And what makes it worse is how she's trying to hit all these closure milestones. Moving on the anniversary of their relationship, going to that same restaurant they visited together on their anniversary. Is she trying to create new memories, or just stuck in a loop of nostalgia? It's hard to tell. It's clear that this guy, Kody, was playing her behind the scenes, stringing her along while giving no real indication of being interested. To us, it was obvious, but then the moving day hit, and it was such a punch in the gut. I mean, what kind of emotional mind game did he play on her to make her still question if it could have worked? We can't forget that Meri was a teenager when she first got together with Kody. She spent most of her life either living with him or being in his orbit, longer than she even lived with her parents. Breaking away from all of that has to be terrifying. It's like stepping into the unknown, and that's a huge thing to process. I think part of it is that she's mourning everything, the life she thought she was going to have, the years she feels she's wasted, and the stability she once knew. As for that restaurant, it's where Aspen got married, so it's probably just a place she likes. And the timing of her move on their anniversary? Maybe it was just practical, something with her lease ending, or maybe the van situation. Look, I'm not saying you're wrong about her, but there are a lot of other factors at play here too. It's not just black and white. I honestly can't figure out why Robyn has such a grip on her kids. They all sound like they've been living in a bubble, sheltered and helpless. It's like Kody is their god, and they're just following his every command. If he told them to jump, they'd probably be asking how high. It's honestly like they're in their own little cult. Everyone else's kids are out there getting jobs and figuring out how to be adults, but Robyn's? Nah, they're stuck at home indefinitely. Kody freaks out at Janelle for letting her boys move back in, but somehow it's totally fine for Robyn's kids to live at home until they're like 50. They really need to experience the world. They need friends, dates, some independence. But no, this whole family gives off major mentally and emotionally stunted vibes. Something's off, and it's hard not to feel bad for her kids. I'm honestly more disgusted by Kody, though. He's like the sad leader of a cult, and it's gross. Honestly, I think Robyn's the one pulling the strings, not Kody. I mean, sure, Kody wanted Janelle's kids out, but I'm pretty sure it's Robyn who's holding on to hers like they're some kind of precious possession. You can see it in Aurora and Brianna. They're both anxious, and it's like Robyn's anxiety has rubbed off on them. And let's talk about the coronavirus rules for a second. Kody claims they were his rules, but I'm betting Robyn came up with all that stuff and convinced him it was his idea. When Kody realized Meri was following the rules, he asked Robyn if Meri could come over, and Robyn shut it down fast. If Kody really had control, why would he need to ask her permission? Meri's friends, Can we all just take a moment to appreciate Andrea and Hillary? Seriously, they're nailing the role of supportive best friends. No sugarcoating, no holding back when it comes to Kody. I mean, if Meri's going to have a chosen family, she might as well have people who are actually on her side, right? It's about time she's got a solid crew who lifts her up, sees the good in her, and actually wants her to thrive. Because, you know, she deserves that. We all do. Okay, but I could have done without that whole "does Kody miss you?" conversation. Like, why are we even giving him space in Meri's head? She really shouldn't be wasting her time thinking about him, and they definitely shouldn't be pushing her in that direction. But hey, I get it. No one's perfect, right? They were trying to be supportive in their own way. Meri is completely caught up in a delusion. Her so-called support system isn't helping at all. Apparently, the best advice they can offer is that Kody will totally miss her someday and realize what he lost. Are you kidding me? The guy has been gaslighting her for over 30 years, and everything he said to her was wrapped in some manipulative, hidden agenda. It's time for Meri to face reality. Kody ne vier lu hier. For the love of all that's holy, Meri, please get a clue. Now, we're only getting snippets of the conversation, but one of the women has already walked away from a plural marriage, and the other grew up in polygamy. They probably have the clearest understanding of this mess. They've known Meri since before the cameras started rolling, so their perspective is probably spot on. Honestly though, I get it. There's a small part of me that almost finds it comforting in a twisted way to think, sure, you never loved me, Kody, but you'll miss me one day. You sorry excuse for a human. Whether that'll ever happen, who knows, but it sure feels good to imagine it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.